The Mamas and the Papas, one of the defining musical groups of the 1960s, captured the spirit and sound of a generation with their harmonious blend of folk, pop, and rock. Comprised of members John Phillips, Michelle Phillips, Denny Doherty, and Cass Elliot, the group's melodic tunes and evocative lyrics perfectly encapsulated the ethos of the counterculture movement. Join Facts Verse as we present how each of the Mamas and the Papas died. Denny Doherty. Denny Doherty led a life that was both musically rich and personally complex. Born November 29, 1940 in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Doherty's passion for music manifested early. He began his musical journey with the Halifax-based band The Hepsters before moving on to the Colonials, which later became the Halifax Three. But it was in the 1960s that his career took a significant turn. After the delusion of the Halifax Three, Doherty joined the new Journeymen, a folk trio that included John Phillips and Michelle Phillips. This collaboration was the catalyst for the formation of the Mamas and the Papas. Adding Cass Elliot to the lineup, the group quickly rose to fame with their harmonious sound and memorable hits. But beyond the music, the dynamics within the group were often tumultuous. Romantic entanglements, personal tensions, and substance abuse issues led to the group's eventual disbandment in 1968. Doherty's relationship with Mama Cass in particular was a subject of much speculation and was known to have its ups and downs. Post the Mamas and the Papas, Doherty pursued a solo career, releasing a few albums, though none matched the success he experienced with the group. He also ventured into acting and even hosted a variety show in Canada. In the 90s, he co-wrote and starred in a theater production called Dream a Little Dream, which recounted the story of the Mamas and the Papas. Denny Doherty passed away January 19, 2007. Despite the personal challenges and often volatile dynamics of the group, his contribution to the music world is undeniable. Cass Elliot. Cass Elliot, commonly known as Mama Cass, was one of the most distinctive voices of the 60s, both as a member of the Mamas and the Papas and as a solo artist. Born Ellen Naomi Cohen on September 19, 1941 in Baltimore, Cass grew up in a family deeply rooted in culture and music. Her father was a small business owner and her mother a trained singer. The environment instilled in her a love for music early on. They moved to Alexandria, Virginia during her teenage years. She attended George Washington High School, where she was actively involved in music and drama. It was during these formative years that she began to seriously consider a career in entertainment. Her first foray into music began in the early 60s. She formed a folk trio with Tim Rose and John Brown called the Triumvirate. But it was when they replaced Brown with James Hendricks that they renamed themselves the Big Three. While they enjoyed moderate success and made TV appearances, they're best remembered for their rendition of Young Girl's Lament. After the group disbanded, Cass briefly joined a group called the Mugwumps, which had members who later formed parts of the famed groups The Lovin' Spoonful and the Mamas and the Papas. Her true breakthrough came when she joined forces with John Phillips, Michelle Phillips, and Denny Doherty to form the Mamas and the Papas. Cass's powerful contralto voice became one of the defining elements of the group's sound. Her time with this iconic folk pop group in the 60s solidified her place in music history. Their hits like California Dreamin', Monday Monday, and Dedicated to the One I Love are classics, with Cass's voice being central. After they disbanded, she embarked on a solo career. Her rendition of Dream a Little Dream of Me became an instant hit, peaking at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100. Over the next few years, she released multiple albums and singles, some of which, like Make Your Own Kind of Music, became staples of her repertoire. She also guest hosted The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and even had her own specials showcasing her versatile talent. Cass Elliot died July 29, 1974 in London at age 32. She was on a sold-out solo tour in England and had just completed a successful 2-week run at the London Palladium. The initial speculation and a widely spread rumor claimed she choked to death on a sandwich, a falsehood perpetuated by the media. However, the official cause of death, as determined by the coroner, was heart failure. The post-mortem found that she had not choked on food, and her heart showed signs of damage consistent with myocardial infarction. Despite this clarification, the sandwich myth persisted in popular culture for years, often overshadowing her significant musical achievements. John Phillips. John Phillips, best known as the chief songwriter and one of the lead singers of the Mamas and the Papas, led a life that was artistically rich but fraught with personal challenges. His legacy is cemented in the annals of rock history, but his personal journey was riddled with highs and lows. Born August 30th, 1935 in Parris Island, South Carolina, John Edmund Andrew Phillips showed an inclination towards music early on. He was initially part of a few minor groups, but eventually formed the Journeymen, a folk trio in the early 60s. While the group achieved modest success, it was the formation of the Mamas and the Papas that marked a turning point in his career. John was often considered the driving force behind the group, providing much of their creative direction. After the group disbanded, he embarked on various projects. He released his solo album, John Phillips, John the Wolf King of LA, in 1970, which, though not a commercial success, has since gained a cult following. In the late 70s, he also collaborated with Rolling Stones member Keith Richards on the soundtrack for the film The Man Who Fell to Earth. His life was marred by substance abuse issues. His struggles with drugs and alcohol were well documented and affected both his personal relationships and his professional trajectory. His relationship with his children, especially Mackenzie Phillips, was complex and at times controversial, with Mackenzie later revealing allegations of a troubled and inappropriate relationship with her father. John Phillips passed away March 18, 2001, from heart failure. Michelle Phillips. Michelle Phillips, born Holly Michelle Gilliam on June 4, 1944 in Long Beach, California, had a multifaceted career spanning several decades. Her musical journey began in earnest when she co-founded the Mamas and the Papas with her then-husband John. With John, Denny, and Cass in the mid-60s. With her clear, melodic voice, she contributed to the group's harmonious sound. She also co-wrote some of the band's songs with John Phillips. After the dissolution of the band, she transitioned into acting. She appeared in a variety of films and television shows over the years. Some of her notable roles include appearances in films like Dillinger, where she earned a Golden Globe nomination, Valentino, and The California Kid. On the television front, Michelle had roles in popular series like Knots Landing and Beverly Hills 90210. Her personal life was as eventful as her career. She was married to John Phillips from 1962 to 70. Their union produced a daughter, China Phillips, who later became a member of the musical group Wilson Phillips. Michelle had subsequent marriages to actor Dennis Hopper, a brief 8-day marriage in 1970, radio executive Robert Birch, and plastic surgeon Stephen Zacks. Throughout the ups and downs of her career and personal life, Michelle Phillips has remained a resilient figure in the entertainment industry. Now it's time to hear from you. Who was your favorite member of the Mamas and the Papas? What was your favorite song of theirs? Let us know in the comment section below.